Welcome to Madrid Reviews. This is your host, Christian Madrid. And on today's video, we're going to be talking about Thunderbolts. Let's get to the review now, yo. Alright, y'all, let's get into this. So, I just saw Thunderbolts, and I gotta say, this movie was pretty good. I didn't know what to expect with this film, and I kept my expectations pretty low because the past few Marvel movies haven't really been that good. Yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine was very good, but the Marvel sucked ass, and Captain America Brave New Midworld was very mid and average, So I kept it pretty low, but this movie, it was good and it was entertaining, and it was different from most MCU films. I think it's one of the better ones, one of the better Marvel films in recent years because it tries something different, and it sticks to the landing due to the great direction, by Jake Schreiner. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. He keeps his film very grounded, and he did a fantastic job directing this film. The writing was great in this film. As for once, a Marvel film puts more effort into its character development than its action, as the characters make this film great, as they all have great chemistry together, and it oddly works. The action is great though, there is some good action, but it's not too focused with the action spectacle, as less is more in this film. The story is great and has a great balance of, comedy moments, funny, and when it needs to get serious, it definitely does with its serious, mental health themes, of loneliness, depression. These characters are searching, for like a purpose in life, and it's surprisingly this film, it handles these themes very well in the film. It does. And I enjoyed how this film ended, and I think it does a great job in setting up the future of the MCU. The acting is great, as Florence Pugh gives a magnificent performance. She's a total badass in this movie and in this film, and she steals every scene she's in. Smash or pass, I'm smashing. Sebastian Stan returns as Bucky, and he kills it, and David Harbour provides some funny comic relief, very funny in this movie. The cinematography, looks great in this film, as it's beautifully shot. I like the color grading it uses, the darkly lit, and it looks better than most of the recent MCU films because it looks like there was real effort put into, the look of this film. The production design is great, as for once an MCU film relies on using real locations, and it's very refreshing to see less green screen in this film. They're actually shooting on locations, and it looks awesome. It's not a full green screen movie like Ant-Man and the Quantum Shinium, whatever the fuck that was. The visual effects, they do look great in this film, as there's a great mixture of both CGI and practical effects, for once. The sound design is badass, as it makes the action sequences much more intense. The editing is pretty good in this film, as, it's a little bit of a slow burn at first, but the runtime is reasonable. It's a 2-hour film, so it's got a good runtime. Overall, the Thunderbolts was fun. It was entertaining, watch, and maybe a return to form for the MCU. I think so, and I'm looking forward to the future upcoming Marvel films, and I recommend checking out Thunderbolts. I'm looking forward to Fantastic Four. It looks good. Hopefully it doesn't disappoint. This movie did not disappoint. Also stay for the post-credit scenes, especially the second one. It's pretty important, especially if you're a Marvel fan. I'm giving this film a B+. We didn't really good watch this movie. In and Out, Chick-fil-A, Raising Cane's type shit. Alright, y'all, so that's going to be the end of the video. Don't forget to hit that like button, comment on whether you have seen Thunderbolts or you're excited to see it. And if you've seen it already, let me know your thoughts. What's your favorite Marvel movie at the moment, And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button alerts to know when I drop a new review. Appreciate you all for watching. See you on the next one. Have a good morning, afternoon, or night, whatever time you watch this. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to watch me talk about movies. Thank you. Bye-bye.